Everyone, today I'm making a video on the Kalmar Union and what I think it would be like. Well, I actually got this idea from looking at the map and remember how big Scandinavia is and that they used to be together. So I was kind of thinking, how would they be like today too if they were united as one country? I know there's many influences to why I was also planning to make this video too, including friends as well, family who are also talking about politics, so I decided to make it. So, enjoy. Before I can start talking about it, I probably should give you some introduction to what the Kalmar Union is. The Kalmar Union previously existed too, and was a unified country including most of Scandinavia and parts of Karelia, but not all of Karelia. The Kalmar Union also seemed to be a powerful state in its time too, as well. So, also today it also be much more harder for them to come together because now you have Swedish, you have Faroese, you have Icelandic, you have Finnish, Danish, Norse, all those languages. It's have a language barrier between them, but still yet it's possible for them to come together. Because some countries like Switzerland actually do have multiple national languages. But I could see it as possible for a Kalmar Union to form again. But there's still chances that can happen, chances it won't happen too. But except there's higher chances it won't happen. But people come together during crises or natural events that kind of force them to work together. Because when you think of it, for example, if you look at major catastrophes that can really almost put something to extinction or something really bad that happens, I could probably convince them that they all need to reunify together and that they need to do it for their survival. And they would do it as they need to. But still, yeah, it's nicer to have smaller independent countries because you have better autonomy and better management. Because bigger countries tend not to have the good management. As you look at China, Russia, US, they all have problems because there's no one size fit all for all countries and all places. So one thing that's for sure is if the Kalmar Union were to come together today, things would be a lot different, even the quality of life. So you would see a huge impact in all aspects of life in Scandinavia if they were to reunite today. So do you see Sweden, Denmark, and Finland? And also Karelia. Karelia is around here. It's this area of Russia. Karelia. Faroe Islands and Shetland Islands are also. We're kind of part of the Union of Kalmar Union, but Shetland Islands is under UK, and Faroe Islands is Denmark. But for Shetland Islands to receive independence from the UK, it would take some effort too. Then you have Iceland. Iceland is another Scandinavian country too. Iceland is up north and it has a northernmost capital, Reykjavik. Then you have Greenland. I'll call that the biggest island in the world. Almost more ice than green. And Iceland is more ice Iceland is more green than ice. It's kind of surprising. Like if they were to be honest, then they both of them have trade names because Greenland is mostly ice and Iceland is mostly green because it's a volcano. Plus, Greenland is the biggest island in the world. In fact, it has 3 time zones on it. So over here has 1 time zone, and somewhere down here there's another one. Then the rest of the island has 1 big time zone. There's 3 time zones in it. And Nuuk is the capital of Greenland, although it is the northern capital too. It's not recognized as an independent country. First, let's look at Scandinavia. Scandinavia is really northward, so that means it has lots of snow too. And snow would actually work in favor of defenders, so they actually have lots of natural barriers that help them defend too. Like if you look at Finland, it's connected to Russia, but still yet the mountain range is pretty nasty because the Finnish army held off the Russian army for quite a long time in World War II. And Denmark will actually be one of the easiest territories to invade out of all of them. But also, if you look at in the big picture, they probably would have a really big navy because if you think of it, they will have lots of islands too. And plus, the navy can actually help support lots of the coastal cities if they were to come under attack. Because lots of Scandinavia's population centers are near the coastline or near the Baltic Sea, so they probably would have a big military when you think of it. And they also have the Åland Islands in the middle too. That is the Swedish-speaking territory of Finland. Yeah, like a demilitarized zone in a way because there's no military that's allowed to be on it. But Åland Islands does have lots of autonomy too. I know I'm getting off track here, but we're gonna start talking about what might happen if they were to become independent. I mean, if their islands were to become, the Shetland Islands will become independent from UK. There's a possible scenario on how it could form again. Let's talk about possible scenario for formation of the Kalmar Union. First of all, Russia's aggression is actually something that the European nations are concerned about, and instability in the UK can actually cause Shetland Islands to leave. And also, if you look at what's going on in the world right now too, lots of things will affect it because Iceland actually doesn't have a really strong military. They have a crisis response unit which acts like a military, but is not really a military. But they're more like an army in a way. Greenland is already part of Denmark, and also you need to get something done with the Karelias too, to kind of get it back to its whole geographical border. But this one excludes having Karelia in it. So my first scenario, I want to talk about how this would happen in how I can see it as one possible scenario. We're back to the map here of what you notice here. It's England, and you have the Shetland Islands. So, do you remember Europe and the migrants and Brexit? I suspect my scenario that if the Kalmar Union is going to be reformed again, something's going to have to happen with the UK. The UK is going to have to lose Scotland probably, and then the Shetland Islands won't be happy under Scotland because they threatened to leave under Scotland. So that means they're probably gonna find ways to leave Scotland or buy their independence from the UK. So which will result in an independent Shetland Islands. And if you look at how close Shetland Islands is to Norway, it's really close to Norway. So when you think of it, when Shetland Islands leaves the United Kingdom, they might be able to receive protection from Norway against foreign invaders. You look at the distance. Sorry about the moving camera. About that. There's nothing much I can do about the camera moving yet. I'm thinking of buying some kind of stand later to hold the camera for me, but that's in the future. But anyways, let's get back on topic. Let's look at how close they are too, which also play a really major role because once Shetland Island leaves UK, they're probably going to be defenseless too and depend on Norway. So, which is going to release Shetland Islands from the UK. And next we're going to talk about how Russia will come into play. I'm sure you all remember Russia's annexation of Crimea. That's going to play another important role in it. Because especially with Donald Trump's call to actually focus on home, and he doesn't care that much about foreign affairs too, based on what he said in his election speech too, I noticed. He's actually more internally for America's benefit. He might actually leave the Europeans to fight for themselves. Well, how can Scandinavian countries stand up to a country like Russia? That big. How can they? How do small countries stand up to bigger countries? I know alliance is one of them, but in some cases they unify into one country. So, in this case, assuming that Sweden goes along, because Sweden's a really powerful country too. I know Sweden, I know Finland, I know Sweden will actually be pretty strong too. They might actually lead this union too. They're just strong. They're one of the strongest economies of all the Scandinavian countries. I'm not sure the top, but I don't know one of the strongest. But let's look at Finland. You notice that Finland shares a border with the Russians, and Finland used to be occupied by Russia. How's that going to play out, too? Because Finland's going to be worried about renewed Russian aggression against them. So that's going to actually try get them to actually call for help. But NATO doesn't really seem to be strong enough. They might actually try to reform the Kalmar Union. So that way, there'll be one country, and they will be defended against the Russian aggression. Since Finland and Norway are both NATO, you probably could work on something, some kind of agreement. So, in this scenario, I think Finland and Norway would be the first one to reunite. And they would unite first. And Denmark would later join in too, because Denmark is small and probably would need protection too. And Shetland Islands will join in too, because they need protection from Russia too, because Russia could invade them really easy. Shetland Islands probably will not be able to hold a strong military force. So, next, let's look at Iceland too. Well, Greenland will obviously have been brought into because of Denmark. So Iceland depends on foreign assistance to keep itself safe. But they could promise Iceland like better economic stability maybe, and promise protection, because if the US were to back down, Iceland would need someone else to help them maintain their defense. So eventually Iceland might be forced to join, and when they join, they'll contribute a really important part of the Atlantic too, because they're like almost in the middle of everything. They'd be one of the best places to basically have control of North Atlantic, because it holds air bases too. And plus Reykjavik already does hold military bases for foreign militaries. So it won't need that much construction to be done. So Reykjavik and Iceland will be really important to join into. Or Iceland. Well, Iceland's CRU will become part of the Kalmar Union's military. Sweden's a tough one because Sweden's usually neutral, but they do take part in the EU and they were part of the session zone. So it would be possible to convince Sweden to join. Not the easiest, but Sweden probably would join in if the neighbors pressure them to do it. And Sweden will most likely join in this case too, after they get pressured to. And Sweden will be a really strong contributor to the Kalmar Union and making it formidable against, Russia. Now let's look at the Baltic states. I'm sure you all know of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and the capitals Tallinn, Riga, Vilnius. Yep. Well, first of all, the Baltic states are really going to be worried about Russia because of World War II and how they were invaded, and eventually had to break off of Russia. And I don't think they want to go back into being part of Russia, so they're probably going to try to get help. And when they see that NATO is not that strong, as in the case for Finland, they probably would have to join the Kalmar Union. They probably would join in and contribute their militaries, and they would help make the Kalmar Union stronger too. And when the Kalmar Union gets strong, with these new additions, the Kalmar Union will be pretty powerful. The Kalmar Union will probably have a really strong navy, and probably a really strong army too, because of the border there. They probably will also seek to try to use a collective pressure to kind of get Russia to back down off them, because people don't like attacking strong enemies. That'd be like, would Germany try to attack the US right now in the current position? Would France try to? No, because it doesn't make sense. First of all, I know we get along, but we didn't get along, so they probably wouldn't have, because we're a superpower and they're not really big enough to compete with us. But in this case, too, but would the US go to war with them too? Probably not. Because France and Germany are strong countries, and the US doesn't want to go to war with them because that would weaken their forces too. Besides the fact that we're allies too. Even if they were neutral, we probably wouldn't get involved too, because it's not worth our time. But in this case, the Kalmar Union probably would try to play neutral with Russia, because if they could play neutral with Russia, they don't have to worry about this huge country trying to envelop them, because they would be strong, and Russia doesn't want to waste their resources too, because they probably would have to try. They're trying to make friends with the U.S. too at the same time, so they probably would not invade the Kalmar Union, and the Kalmar Union would be a deterrent, and would also buy them time to improve relations with Russia. At the same time, develop more military technologies. Have any of you heard of Saab? Saab is a company from Sweden, and they make military jets. So they probably would produce most of the military jets that the Kalmar Union's military would use. Sweet. Also, because with the current threat of Russia to them too, they probably would have developed their military to become pretty strong, but later on they probably would have found it unnecessary. And also, Kalmar Union would probably have a really strong economy, probably comparable to the size of Germany's economy, or let's see, maybe France's economy too. But it would still be it would be powerful economically, because when they're united, you combine all their economies together. The Scandinavian countries and the Baltic states. This would lead to a bigger economy too, and much more freer trade, which would lead to better conditions, which would lead to a strong economy too. So in my opinion, the Kalmar Union would be pretty strong if they were to become united today, because first of all, they would have the snowy terrain, which would help them out. Like Napoleon lost the snowy terrains, which kind of proves that effectiveness of snow as a way of hurting invasions. And plus, all the new countries joining into it will actually be pretty helpful too, because Kalmar Union might be small compared to Russia, but they can still be strong and resist Russians. Thank you for watching.